In my 28 years of doing business, I have seen some very strong parallels between business strategy and home design. And today, I'm going to run you through these both parallel tracks. We're going to use Southwest Airlines. They're an admired company in the business world for various reasons we'll get into. And George and Valerie, they are a composite, a make-believe couple, which generalizes a lot of characteristics of people that allow us to do our best work. Before we go there, quick start. If you don't have anything else, you don't have time for it, or you only remember these two things, do this. Build a do not do list. Things that you will not do at all costs. That is the heart and liver of strategy. We'll get into that also. The second thing is figure out by hook or by crook how to hire right for you, for how you roll and where you want to go. As a business owner, my biggest mistakes by far, hands down, have been poor hiring choices and choosing to work for the wrong people. When I get those right, my problems vanish like snow in the hot sun. I get those wrong, and my problems multiply like rabbits in the springtime. Those are two quick tips. If you get nothing else out of this video, write those down. Don't forget them. You'll thank me for it if we ever meet. Southwest Airlines. It's very admired. Many coaching books, business books, strategy talk about Southwest Airlines. They work in an industry that is incredibly competitive, hard to make money. And Southwest Airlines has not only made money, but they've been a high-performing stock year after year after year. How? So a Southwest strategy, how did they get their strategy? The strategy doesn't just come with poof, you understand exactly who you are and what your big why is and how you're going to do it. It's messy. So you start with kind of maybe what you want to do, but it's not clear. What helps bring that crystal clear is a do not do list. Now Southwest do not do list, they didn't want long flights. They didn't want to haul extra luggage. They didn't want first class. And all of this ties into their big picture why of providing fun, friendly, low-cost air travel to connect people with what's important to them. Okay, so it kind of makes sense in that paradigm, with that lens. And the last part of strategy is boots to the ground, rubber to the road, and that's tactics. You have to try things. Strategy is such an animal that you don't know if it's going to work. It's a test. And so many tactics, I'm sure, of the Southwest have been left by the wayside. The ones that are remaining that we can see is that they don't have first class, there are no meals, they fly 747s, they're all short flights, they give their employees freedom to make fun announcement, bend the rules, use their judgment, and a legendary stunt by Herb, he's kind of the CEO or has been the CEO for many years, to settle a dispute with an airline. Rather than go to court, he said, I'll arm wrestle. Except for he went through dressed up like Hulk Hogan or something into the ring and big, fanfare. Builds culture like you wouldn't believe. So culture was a big piece of how they get and keep going and going strong. And it's not just loosey-goosey, it's pretty disciplined, even if it appears ad hoc. So that is Southwest Airlines. Okay, so now let's talk about George and Valerie. Again, George and Valerie are a make-believe composite, a conglomerate of things, characteristics, people that have come through our doors that have really allowed us to do our best work. They really energize us. So George and Valerie, likewise, they couldn't come in and they don't start with like, wow, we want X, Y, Z, and then straight to home building. All kinds of things, where to build, the property you find, the cost, how big to build, all of these things are just a big messy ball of twine. You start pulling and figuring things out, and that's what George and Valerie did as well. It involved an idea, the guiding principle, the general strategy, the do not do list, and then of course tactics, just like Southwest. So one of the things George and Valerie knew they did not want is they did not want to lean hard into cost-driven. They wanted this to be a design-driven home with some rough budget parameters, and that leads to another principle. They did not want to spend without thinking. So that's how they've built businesses, that's how they've lived, so they're going to be responsible with it. They're not going to step over dollars to pick up dimes. That's not in their DNA. Good stewards of their money is the way they roll. And for their overarching principle, they too are about connecting people with their home, and they want something that's well designed, easy on the eyes, and that lives well and creates a happy place for them and their family. Okay, that's kind of where they wanted to go. And a few things on their do not do list was a master bedroom on the second story. They are thinking long-term, they're long-term thinkers, thorough. So no steps, wide doorways, ADA compliant, big bathrooms, wide hallways. And another thing they wanted was a complete guest suite with a kitchen and a laundry room, completely self-sufficient. They're thinking forever home. They want a happy place where they can live out their years and have family over comfortably and have possibility for a future caretaker. Just make it easy. Think ahead. That's kind of the MO, right? And so this is all boiled down to their overarching strategy, their do not do list. But then their tactics were a little bit of what I alluded to in the start, is figuring out your why. They decided they were going to use structured time when they're both sharp, both ready to go for a month or two, generating ideas, surfing the net, getting inspiration, figuring out what could be, maybe looking for some property, really kind of putting boots to the ground with where it's going to be, what it's going to look like, what's ideal, some rough budget parameters, and get their feet underneath them before they reach out for designers, for contractors, that sort of thing. Building out the detail of the strategy. So that is George and Valerie. We've done Southwest, we've done George and Valerie. And the last piece for putting rubber to the road for you, it is a book I've written that really helps you get your feet underneath you, because you are the CEO of your building journey, your design journey. It's your baby. The choices you make, the people you hire, that's where it's going to go. So there's some really good tips to understand who you are, what you want, who to hire, and then a ton of inspiration. There's different timber styles, and there's different building tips through the whole thing, sections 1, 2, and 3. Okay? Now, how do you get this? Go to arrowtimber.com. There's going to be a pop-up. There's a place in the menu to get it as well, but just leave your best email and bam, it's yours. Yours for the taking. Traction, momentum. And speaking of traction or momentum, if you have any inspiration tips, any strategy tips, or something you will definitely have on your do not do list, leave it in the comments below. It helps us, it helps you, and it helps other people. Win, win, win. What could be finer? See you on the next one.